We are less than 3 weeks away from one of the biggest stick shift races of the season for us here on the channel. As you've seen in the previous videos, we cooked our motor pretty good. We had a worst case scenario on one of our passes at the track, and it wasn't good. And in this video, can we build a 1,000 horsepower motor in less than 3 weeks and actually make it competitive? I don't know. I'm going to show you here on the channel where we started. Let's get into it. After getting the 363 out of the white car, we headed over to Dalk Performance Racing Engines where we met up with Dave, where we got a chance to look over the block pretty good and get an idea where we're headed. One thing's for sure, for having 4 seasons on this block, it didn't look all that bad, but it was definitely time for a refresh. There was some stuff in it that was pretty wore out. We got the rotating assembly out of the 363 and it definitely had some wear like I had mentioned. We just so happened to get lucky enough to find a set of pistons on the shelf to fit this block. We're going to go from a 130 to a 155 bore since this is an aftermarket block. We're going to buy some new rods which aren't that hard to find and we're going to build this motor back better than what it was. But first, we got to get this thing bored out, get these parts ordered, and start getting this thing ready to assemble. Damn, look at that finish. We ended up ordering a nice set of CP pistons. They were about 30 thousandths more than the bore was already in it, which puts it at about 4.155 thousandths. We also ended up buying a new balancer, and this balancer is only temporary because we're going coil on plug with this very soon. We just didn't have enough time to put that in as we want to save that for another video. So the cylinder heads were damaged. We got to put some new seats in. We had just upgraded the valve train, so they'll be in good condition. We decided to blueprint the TFI distributor with a new gear to the block, just so we won't have timing issues like we've had all year. Trust me, we're not going to have any timing issues now. We just so happen to have a brand new 347 crank, so if we ever have an opportunity to get another R block or aftermarket block, maybe we can make a budget little 363 with the spare parts we got. We had already been saving and planning to rebuild this 363 because it has been 4 years. So we had another round of parts coming in. We started doing some serious upgrades to it. This thing's going to be a little monster. After a lot of late nights and a lot of hard work, the short block is coming together. We decided to go with an Anderson V451 camshaft, as it was just a tad better than the one that was in it. And our buddy over at Donnie B said the most he's seen that camshaft make was something around 800. And we were definitely looking to beat that. So here we are towards the end of the build here at the machine shop. We're getting ready to pick this motor up and get it in the white car. I didn't show a whole lot of footage, and I do apologize. I tried to get as much as possible. There was just a lot of work that happened in a very limited time. And I want to make a special shout to my buddy Dave for fitting me into the machine shop schedule with the other workload that he had already had going on. We are on our way over to pick up our 363 turbo motor over at Dalk Performance Racing Engine. Today is the day. We're going to get it locked in here, get it all bolted down. Before the end of the day, hopefully have the drivetrain installed. We got a pilot bearing we got to deal with. Might have to bust out a loaf of bread to get it out. We'll talk about that when it happens. But for now, we got to get some things cleaned up, get it ready, as we have zero time to waste anymore. And we got to get this engine together so we can make NMRA stick shift shootout next weekend. We're on a short time. Let's head over to the machine shop. I do want to say that I appreciate you guys for being patient here on the channel. It's been a tough last 3 weeks. Every minute was not wasted. Hopefully this will all pay off and we can get back on track, because this year in 2024 has not been easy. A lot of work.
It's not leaking any oil yet. I just want you to know that. I primed it and it didn't leak any fucking oil. If it leaks oil after this, it's your problem.
Got a lot of work to do.
You better go eat some lunch. Something in there.
What do you think about my coffee?
It's a little too sweet.
All right, we're gonna get these headers off, and I think that's the last leg of the thing over here is there was a little bit of offness in these headers, and we put the header studs back in that we had in there a couple years ago. So that'll be pretty nice, keep it sealed up. But yep, let's head back to the shop, take these headers off, and I'll see you soon. So this is old fox body problem. When you put cars together with other car parts, you lose keys, and this is how Cousin Paul unlocks the car. Dad's car. It's just one of the many things on Dad's car's list that we're going to have to address eventually. But it's kind of funny to watch Cousin Paul fall out of a fox body. Because he fell out of one time. All right, let's get this loaded. Okay, that was uneventful. Cousin Paul had this pilot bearing out in literally 2 hits. Pop, pop. You can rent a tool from the parts store, and we're gonna go ahead and get us a new pilot bearing, and get it installed. Kind of nice, because then at that point we can just take the motor and just wheel it over here and set it on down. I would clean the engine bay up a little bit more, but not super worried about it right now. We're on a time frame, so we'll go ahead and set the motor in, put the 4 motor mount bolts, which we have right here. And then me, Cousin Fred, and Cousin Paul will put the drivetrain in and get the trans and everything in. And at that point, it's just me hooking shit up, because all the exhaust is right here. We'll get everything underneath the car done, and then it's on me to finish it out. We used to have an old China pilot bearing, something cheap in there. It's time to step our game up. Get this thing locked in there. And it only has so much of a ledge, so you can only hammer or, you know, kind of tap it in so much. But we got pretty busy here, just started putting some shit together. Got most of the whole front of the engine ready. Alternator, water pump, crank pulley, everything's ready to go. We pretty much got the motor mounts locked in. We're gonna come back up here to the top, but I think it's time that we put the drive line in underneath. So we can get this transmission shit in, get the clutches, get the transmission in, get the shifter on, and we're not too far away. Always trying to get our shit off the jack stands here, always. We got some connections to still do under here, not much, like a radiator hose and a couple brackets once we get our headers back, but we got the whole transmission swap in. Everything's nice and torqued, bolted down, even readjusted my 2-step. Pretty motivated to get this car running again, get it straight. It's not gonna run like it did in the past couple years. Man, I'm really hoping it runs better. It's got a lot of really good parts in it, upgraded parts, valve train wise, rockers, studs, bigger camshaft. We did the right thing with the cam bolt and the timing chain and the double pins and the flush pin, and I'll explain about that shit later, but we ain't gonna have that problem no more. Now just to finish the top, hook everything up that needs to be hooked up. And I'm sure there's gonna be some bugs that we gotta work out, but so we got pretty far in what we had to do with the engine. I'm just proud to be able to say that I've got this thing all together for the most part. Next video, we're gonna be showing a first fire. Got a couple more things I need to hook up and I need to check. Get the water in it, check for leaks. Next video, you're gonna see us firing this thing up for the first time and probably shaking it down on the road. So guys, you guys motivate me to get this shit done and get this shit off the jack stands, because I can't tell you guys hear that on the channel and I do it myself. So I appreciate you guys for keeping me motivated. I thank you for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Check out that join button, become a member of the channel. They get exclusive content to the channel. Outside of that, I appreciate you watching. See you soon in the next one, where we'll be firing this thing up.